Hello. Hello.
Perfect, we're good. Okay, call to order for the zoning board of appeals meeting for April 10th. Jude Salato,
Stephen Taub. Very good work.
and we have a quorum. So we have a public hearing tonight for ZBA case 20, oh, I have to, I'm sorry. Do we have any changes or additions to the meeting agenda? Okay, so we're going to set the agenda. Public hearing, CBA case 2504, application of Jamie Cricker and Michael Korn as represented by Barry Price Architects, 99 Tabor Street, Woodstock, New York. 12498 for property located at 2300 Glasgow Turnpike, Woodstock, New York. 12498, a 0.27 acre parcel located within an R3 zoning district for a variance from the zoning law of the town of Woodstock, Article 4, area and bulk regulations, modification of required yards, section 260-26B 2B for 23.1 foot infringement into a 25-foot side yard setback in order to construct an addition to a primary dwelling. So welcome, please state your name for
I'm
the,
Barry Price, the architect. I'm representing Jamie Cricker and Michael Korn.
thank you.
Sure.
So tell us what you want to do.
You have my drawings. You guys have seen them?
We have seen them, you
Yeah.
can pull them out here for us. I thought we had friends.
Well, I did bring a little set, but I kind of figured.
They look at, I haven't looked at it and I actually did go by.
Did you good?
Yep.
So there's an existing house that sits on a undersized, pretty small lot. You can see the dwelling in the sort of composite satellite site plan. Sits right on the road there and it's right up against. It's irrelevant, but relevant that they also own the lot next door.
I see the
And they're planning for their mother's gonna live in the house next door, so they're separate lots, but the intent is to try to, make it a family compound. Yeah, Jency, yeah.
Okay, so, so I think that is significant to me that they own the property next door.
Yeah.
So in looking at this, just,
So the location, if I may, is very constrained by the existing conditions. You can see, septic, or I mean, just utilities and things, in the yard. So I mean, essentially, it's the only place we can go.
okay,
The reason that I didn't follow, that I followed the house and not, I'm into a variance no matter what I do.
right,
If I build over here, right, we see where 25 feet is,
right.
but they have a primary view from their kitchen window here. I'm trying not to improve that, more than I have to.
Primary view into the background.
Yeah, and it's their kitchen
so
and it's their light.
if you turn this way, it's going to block all that, is that what you're saying?
Well, I never really considered turning it. I considered more shifting it over, so the average offset.
Okay.
If that's whatever, let's say that's 4 feet, I'm just making up a number, and I made that 4 feet, I would shift that over, so it would maintain the same relationship to the property line.
Right.
I didn't want to angle it, because I'm introducing a lot of complexity in terms of the construction and how the roof lines meet. So that, I'm not saying it didn't occur to me, but it was a difficulty that I felt was only a response to the property line, but not a response to anything else.
So, question I have is, has there been a survey done?
They didn't have one on file,
Nobody has one.
not that I was able to find, so I took the satellite photo, I took the dimensions from the tax map, and I calculated the lot and the position of the building. But if you require a survey, you can get one.
I think it's tricky. Sometimes those tax lots are like.
No, I know.
Because mine were probably too.
No, I know, they often are.
Only because we've got less than two.
Uh-huh.
So it just gets really messy in the future.
Yeah.
If somebody goes to buy the property and this is on the other lot, and is it possible, will a surveyor just survey the line, or do they insist on doing the whole?
Don't know, it depends on the surveyor, likely what they're gonna do is do a search and see if they can find the survey somewhere.
Okay.
And then they're gonna go verify the corners, on
Right.
their own, but generally speaking, like anybody, they're not gonna wanna take responsibility for somebody else's work.
Right.
So they're gonna wanna do the whole thing.
Right. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I personally do not have a problem with the concept. My only concern is when you're that close to the property line, that we really should know where the line is.
No issue with that.
Well, have you guys
Yeah.
same?
Yeah.
Same. So if that's okay with you, do you,
I don't know how long it's gonna take.
well, that's the question.
You know, I just can't say because I haven't contacted anybody. It's not gonna be a week, I can tell you that.
No, well, we're not meeting on the 24th.
I can certainly do what I can to have it for the next meeting.
Okay. I'm just trying to decide. There's two things that we can do. We can close the public hearing, and then at that point, we have 62 days.
Mhm.
Or we can recess the public hearing until you get the survey. It probably doesn't matter, because if we need to extend it, we can say it's conditional upon you guys getting a survey of this line. And then we can all agree to extend the 62 days. That's one way we can do it,
Huh?
or I can recess. the
I'm not
public-
afraid of the 62 days, if that's. I mean, I think I can get
Do
it
it
together.
within that,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
That seems reasonable, it's not a giant job, there's no topography,
right, nobody's having to climb a mountain,
no,
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 okay, this.
and they probably drive by it 5 times a day, so.
You do what I do.
No, the surveyor probably does.
I can see why they would wanna expand it, and it's kind of nice if they wanna have a.
Yeah, in the end, what happens if the two buildings form a little common access to parking, and, you know, they get, even though the property line will be maintained, they get a little family compound there, multi-generational thing, which I think we want to encourage.
Absolutely, and like, there's like 3 houses in a row that are kind of on the same
Yeah,
size lots.
there are all those IBM, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
these are IBM? You know what year it was for?
it's 60 something.
Yeah,
I mean, you can tell it's prefab, the walls are 2
Yeah.
by 3 and,
Yeah.
you know, it's on the slab and.
yeah,
2 by
3.
Yeah.
if
And
you're lucky, right?
they would put it in its,
And they use the fiberboard for the sheathing. Yeah.
Well, I think the mother-in-law's gonna live on the house next
Oh,
door,
I see.
which is closer to the setback, but they own the property next door. If there was somebody else, it might be another story, but since they own it,
Mhm.
it does change the complexion.
Mhm.
Okay,
So we're saying that on the basis that I'll have a survey back to you, the documents verifies that setback or the
property line,
property line and what the actual number is, if
Yeah.
it's 23 inches or if it's something different. Then you're buttoned up in terms of, you know, exactly what it is, and there won't be, it sets us up for any future inquiry about it. But in terms
I'm not
of,
sure what you just asked me. What she said, what was your question?
I'm just, so in terms of process,
Yes,
on the basis that I get you the survey,
yes,
what happens then?
if you are pretty close to what you think you are,
Yes,
okay? I wouldn't ask you to get a survey if I didn't think we would be good with it.
So I need
Because
to
you're
hear-
good, you're good. Now, these are the people who are here tonight.
yeah.
So you guys are just showing for the vote.
Yeah.
So yes, I wouldn't ask you to do it
Okay.
if I thought
Fair
you were
enough.
gonna say no.
That's all I can ask.
Okay, all right, so, I mean, but it is, I mean, if you're an inch away from the property line, we might have to have another discussion.
Sure,
Um,
so I'll work on verifying that.
okay. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Sherry? Okay, so I'm gonna read the contiguous neighbors, because we're required to do that. Even though we can see they're not here, Paula Woodcock, Lewis Art Living Trust, Michael Corn and Jamie Cricker, and nobody is here from contiguous neighbors. Is there anybody from the public who would like to comment on this case? No, okay. So I am going to close the public hearing for ZBA case 2504. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I.
Okay, so we'll wait to hear from you, and if you hit some kind of roadblock.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can work it out.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
all.
Okay. Good news for once, okay? All right. Next. Move to open ZBA case 2505 for the public hearing of the application of John Peach and Jacqueline Wilson as represented by Brad Will Do I have to read all your credentials? I'm gonna skip
No,
over those.
no.
Ashoka Architecture and Planning, 15 Railroad Ave, number 101, Kingston, New York, 12401, for property located at 17 Woodstock, New York, a 0.18 acre parcel located in an HC zoning district for a variance from the zoning law of the town of Woodstock, Article 5, parking and loading standards, section 260-30B2, in order to allow parking in the required front yard. But before we go ahead, I just want to let you know that we are modifying what your variance is, and I'm sure you were as puzzled by it as I was. The application for variance is actually for a side yard, is that correct?
I guess it's front or side, or maybe even both.
Maybe even both.
I think
Okay.
it was mostly because of the side.
Well, you know, I looked at your drawing, and I think there's a letter in here from Butch, I can written to Butch about it. Oh, look at this, this is the wrong one. And I think she has it in here.
Yeah, Butch didn't mention that, and we didn't discuss it either, so.
Well, I wrote to him. And I asked him, because I think the front yard variance is 15 feet. And side yard is 5. Here it is, Jude, my apologies, you are correct, it is for a side yard variance, I mistakenly wrote front yard again after the fact. Please be kind enough to change that on referral and application, accept this email as confirmation of the facts. I probably should have sent it to you, but you know, Michelle was going away, so I don't know if you need to see this. I don't, okay.
Also, okay, so this was just. Oh, this is
This would be.
Monday.
Yeah,
This is
Michelle-
consistent with the conversation we had.
well,
Yeah.
you know, from what I could tell. From what I looked it up, and when you show on your drawings. Please, oh, by the way, please tell us who you are.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jonathan Keach.
ZR.
Yes.
Yeah, the side yard would be 5 feet. for parking.
Right, so you show your setback here, right? And I believe now. And, I think I looked this up and it's 15 feet away from the central to the other. So assuming that you're gonna park back here, I would think you would meet that, is that correct? I mean, the driveway, I don't think requires it. Okay, it's like that. I mean, everybody has a driveway. What?
Okay.
Did you agree with me on
I do.
that? Okay, good, okay, all right. So tell us what you want to do. I just had to get that off the, because it was published incorrectly.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna let John speak about this really.
We just, originally on the drawings we submitted at the very beginning, we had 2 parking spaces that didn't comply. And that's what we said to Butch, well, I'll approve this, but you'll have to go back about the parking. So this is us going back about the parking, and we reduced it to 1 space.
Okay, that's seven.
And we also had a conversation with Michael Tinney at the DOT before talking to you, and because we needed to make sure that he was going to approve this,
Yes,
and he's given us a verbal go-ahead. And he's waiting for your decision as to whether this is okay, but in terms of the Department of Transport, they're okay with the curb cut we asked here
okay,
for here. And what we were trying to do is simply, and I think this is well more than 15 feet back,
yes,
but we had to make enough space to turn it. Either way, so you turn in and park backwards or whatever. And that was,
illegal to park, to back out into the two.
yes, and they said to us, you've got to be able to turn it round. So that's what the purpose of this is.
Gotcha.
And I think that the reason for the zone is because we're right tight on the sideline here, on
Well,
So this is the five.
this is the 5
the,
feet.
sorry, this is the property line.
Yeah, you're close to the property line that you're.
Well, that's a building setback. It's not a parking or driveway setback, which is different. But anyway,
Okay. I mean,
it's a
if
tight, it's a
you're
very
for-
tight,
it's
lot.
Yes, it is, I've seen.
yeah, so.
So just wanted to let you know, Donnie Allen called me yesterday, who's the Woodstock Highway Superintendent. He said, for some reason, he also has to sign off on curb cuts on state roads.
Oh, okay,
And he said he did not have any problem.
thank you.
So just wanted to let you know that.
We haven't made a formal application, everything's been, well, Michael's got drawings, but we haven't actually filled it in, because we didn't want to do it until we had this.
Okay, gotcha. That would make sense to do it that way. Okay, so just practically speaking, Is this realistic to be able to turn?
Mhm.
There's enough space.
Oh, sure.
to-
Actually, we've been practicing with a truck. Yeah, there's
They
plenty,
haven't reached the building yet.
yeah, there's plenty of room with a car, yeah, because I've been using the dump truck to get around.
Gotcha. I did notice, and I don't remember when I came to do the site visit for your other variants. Was the curb even there? Because there's no curb anywhere anymore.
Well, it's broken curb all the way
Yeah.
along, and
Yeah.
some of these. It's discussion with Michael and also with town supervisor, what we. Doing we get permission to do this curb,
Right, right.
what Michael Tinney said was. We'll repair these because these are in a really bad state,
Yes.
the actual sidewalk.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to do, there is a curve there still. And I'm waiting for the final plans of the sidewalk project because
this is all gonna get completely.
It's gonna get ripped up again,
Repaired
you
and
see.
replaced and extended all the way up to Dixon. Like,
so what,
All the way up to Dixon, the sidewalk.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big project.
yeah,
Is this gonna change your front yard?
yes, it's gonna change everyone's front yard because they're taking between. Well, as far as I can gather, so don't take me as definitive here. Depending on what's going on, they're taking on this side between a permanent, I don't know what the proper word for it is, they're taking 12 inches. And they want a temporary easement of 18 inches while they're doing the work. So we're setting, that's why we're setting these walls back. So that we have to, I don't want to build them until I'm absolutely sure about my 12 and 18 inches, because it would be a bit of a shame. But the idea was to give enough space to do this, and we're doing this with pavers so that they can be lifted. On the other side of the street, it's even worse, if you recall. Because Near Street, on the other side of Near Street, where the bed and breakfast is, they need 5 feet of where Twin Gables is.
Oh, it's really familiar.
Yeah, they've got to take 5 feet, and I noticed that
Yeah, they have
Central
poles to
Hudson
deal
just
with
put a new pole in where they've got to take it out if they do that.
It's gonna impact a lot of properties.
So I'm just trying to get it neat and tidy. They said now it's going to be done in 2027, where it was scheduled to be done this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to. but-
So we'll work around it, but we'll try and repair it. Obviously, if we put a curb cut in, we'll put a curb cut in. And Michael's given us the specification to do that,
Mhm.
and we'll repair the sidewalk as best we can, so that it's pretty rough. as it
Yeah,
is at the
a
moment.
lot of them are at that end, so the road is, as well,
Yeah.
yeah. It's too bad, because you're gonna lose a little bit of your grassy area, so you're saying this is gonna be pavers, by the way, I just wanna say that, I think it's beautiful. I
Glad
just don't-
glad you liked it.
Yeah, it surprised me a little bit with all of this, because I thought this was gonna be 4 feet, but, this is still gonna be handicap accessible, right? It's the-
Yeah, the road's going in here.
It's over here, and this is wide enough, but it looks really nice. It really
Yeah.
is.
We'll landscape the front of it.
Yeah,
And actually, here, we'll plant as much of this as we can around the turning circle. We'll probably put a tree in here. But we'll have to put the tree committee.
well, and so this is very convenient because the person in the public is from the tree committee.
Okay,
So we'll have that opportunity in a minute. So, it would be really nice to do that, but you're obviously gonna have to make sure you
well, we got,
gotta be far enough back from this thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's enough room
There's
to
enough
do it.
room.
We need to pick a species that isn't gonna push out, so low down,
We,
you know?
we have an excellent horticulturist landscape designer on the project.
Okay.
So she will make sure that these, all the species are corrected and the layout's gonna be, really beautiful.
okay. And so I'm just, this is me just being interested.
Hmm.
So this is all gonna be, you're gonna do a bluestone here? Leading up to.
We're not gonna use bluestone, we're using pavers, yeah.
It's bluestone patio.
It's,
Facing. Okay.
it's not, well, the trouble with bluestone is that we're gonna use bluestone all around the back of here.
Nice,
Where we can, but this is going to have a wheelchair
well, you
capable ramp all the way along here. We've got to be very careful. But it's a slight rise, but it really needs to be easy to run on.
right,
Can't really do that with big chunks of bluestone so easily, but it'll look good.
I'm sure.
It's grey and we did this sort of grey and white theme to it. So,
Nice.
and we'll use bluestone here
Mhm.
for these walls.
Mhm. So, you know, you and I had spoken and you said, you know, he over here, he has a picket fence, so you decided to do some kind of little stone wall as opposed to.
Well, this was, yeah, this was always on the plan. I think
Right.
what we'll do here is we'll do on the neighbor's side here, on
Mhm.
Sailor's side, he's got a white picket
Yeah.
fence around the corner. We'll
Right.
probably do that here.
Okay.
Just to match it in with him, and
Okay.
he and I are working on how to landscape this boundary.
Pretty nice.
This part here, we'll fence this. So for his privacy and for the privacy of this,
Mhm.
but there's no, we'll just gonna plant this. So we'll put hedging and plants in along here. And maybe just to define this boundary here,
Mhm.
we'll put a white picket fence or something. And he's got piled stone on the other side of this, so we'll probably improve his piled stone and maybe. We've got a lot of material lying around, so we'll see
So
what we
that's
can
his
do.
stone, not yours, I did see that.
Sorry?
It's his, not yours, the piled stone,
Well, yeah, it's just left over from whatever it was
I see, okay.
years ago. I think we can make it look good. The material here will be the same as the material here.
Okay.
So that it looks consistent and here. Been a long time since you were out, you and I were out the front of the old building with a measuring tape, yeah.
It's been, we've been doing a lot. It's nervous on the door opens and
Well, I have
it.
a vested interest because I'm gonna live in it.
I know you had said that,
Yeah,
so I'm sure the inside is beautiful,
because I just want to live in the middle of woods,
right,
and I can walk everywhere, or my wife does in particular.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, nice. Okay, do you guys have anything you wanna ask?
Just to be clear, the variance is going to be for one spot and the ability to turn around here.
That's it.
So there will only be one car, because you know, I probably would put that in as a condition of the variance, if that's what you're asking for.
Yeah, it's only one
Okay.
short.
And will you, and listen, I don't like signs. I don't like signs, but I just, would there, I mean, I'm not saying that there should or shouldn't be, but would there be a sign? Parking only, okay, you got it, all right, it's there, good for you.
We'll put something subtle.
Yeah.
And see if people notice it,
Yeah.
but yes, I mean, the idea was to. We might sort of, the bottom of these steps, plant this a bit, we'll
Yeah.
just try and make it obvious that it's a private entrance so that people
Right.
don't start to use it as a turning space. There are ways to discourage that, obviously.
So,
Hello,
okay,
Joe.
Joe Bellick, ZBA member is here,
how are you?
we're all good, glad to see you.
Just gonna sit over here at the head of the table. I won't pull anything out.
So this is the case on 70 Tinker Street.
Okay.
They're looking for a 4-foot setback variance in order to be able to create a parking space in here. For this, we did this building, you were on the ZBA when we did this building. So now he just wants to be able to live in the building and have a spot to park his car. So we've just been talking about all the things he's gonna do. They're gonna do some plantings, they're gonna do some border plantings along here and maybe a picket fence. And I have faith it'll be beautiful because everything you've done has been really nice. And I just said, I think that part of the variance should be granted would be for just one car. So that we don't have cars all lined up here, which is a visual problem. But they only want one car, so that's not a problem. So you just walked in and you might have been able to look at the application. If you
I did, yeah.
So do you have any questions or
Nope,
issues? Okay.
nice to see the drawing. Thank
Be
you.
careful about- Oh.
Look at the front side of it, we want a typo than anything else, it doesn't seem like it's much more.
It's not a big deal, except we have to just change it, and I had to say at the meeting that we were changing it. If you look at the application, it was written in.
Yeah.
At the last moment front, it said, 4-foot variance into a 5-foot setback, and then he wrote in front. I don't even know if he did that, but it's side.
I
It's
would, I
side.
could tell. By some-
Yeah, it's side. Does anybody have it? Did you bring it?
Thank you.
Let's- Look at them here, the actual version of it.
This side. I know,
This is a
wrong
lot.
one. Just kidding.
It's very confusing. We have these piles of things.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
At
you-
the front, and and Michelle crossed it out here on the side, so.
Yeah,
So
Michelle,
it'll be changed, she said she could not change it. In the legal notice of what was online until we announced that we were changing it and that we got authorization from Butch that it should be subject. So it'll be the correct variance, I don't think you're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna read the contiguous neighbors. Okay, Sasha Dreams LLC, 68 Seeds LLC, Laurel Side 2 LLC, BREHI Twin Gables LLC, Robert P. Williams, 69 Tinker Street LLC. There's nobody here from contiguous neighbors, but we do have someone here from the public. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, my name is Michael Beach. I am here wearing two hats tonight. The first hat is member of the Commission on Civic Design. And the second hat is I'm the chair of the Town Tree Committee. And I'm also a bit of a photographer. I took a picture today of the situation down there. I personally don't believe there's enough room to turn a pickup truck around in that space that they want to turn into a parking turnaround. I would suggest before you make a decision, you actually do a site visit and, bring a pickup truck and try turning it and just, because I personally, when you start adding a tree and a picket fence, it's gonna get very crowded. And right now, the way it looks, they can't even turn a truck around, okay? Helps that, the other point about the tree, as much as I want to see more trees planted, there is a regulation that any tree has to be at least 7 feet from a curb cut. I haven't measured down there. I don't know if it works or not. I really don't. I'm just putting it out there because that is, I looked at the regs in terms of planting a tree and it said 7 feet. Now,
Measured from where? From the,
From
curb cut.
from the edge of the curb cut.
from the edge of the curb. The other point, being about the DOT project. I didn't bring all my maps tonight, but the tree committee has submitted, a layout of new trees. That DOT is going to assist in creating curb cuts or tree pits in the sidewalks. Our plan is to add about 40 trees between the green and Schoonmaker, both sides of the road. Now, I don't know how much of your front yard they're gonna take. And I can't say tonight that we thought of putting a tree in.
It doesn't matter, I mean, I just thought it'd be a nice thing to do. It doesn't
Yeah.
fit in with the existing
Well, we
plan.
would, it's a great spot because there aren't overhead wires. Part of our problem with planting trees is we don't want to plant them right. on the-
Well, that was one of the reasons we thought about it, because we just moved the electricity service on the other side of the building, so you have a window there where there's, no
Yeah.
overhead wires, it's significant. But we don't have to do it, and it's not a criticality at all. We can put some low landscape
Well-
in and make it look pretty without doing that.
Right, but my concern is, on behalf of the CCD is that, their concern, and I'm speaking for my chairman who's not here tonight, he's traveling. His concern is creating a precedent in that section of town, with a, potentially, parking in front yard. And, I hear what you're saying about a sign, I hear what you're saying about, no parking up front. I think he's totally fine if the parked car is pulled all the way forward, in that
That's the
driveway, but I've lived here 25 years and
But I haven't lived there, so I can.
No, right. I've lived here 25 years, and I know for a fact that the best laid plans don't always, I mean, one thing leads to another. And I'm just passing it on that the chair of the CCD is concerned about creating precedent. And we may end up having other store owners along that way, especially after the DOT. We don't know what to do.
We don't.
We do know, the tree committee does know that some large trees are going to be taken down. And, especially around the bridge over the Tannery Road. And part of our negotiation with DOT was their promise to provide spaces for new trees to replace the big, you know, beautiful trees that are specimen trees that they're gonna be taking. So. That's my public comment.
Okay, well, thank you, Michael.
Okay.
Do
you want me to send you this picture?
No, that's okay, I saw it. Does anybody else want it? No. So that's what I was kind of asking is if this is realistic. I don't really want to try it out, but do we, I mean, what's this one? Is this, you know, is this abstract or is this realistic?
No, this is very, very not abstract. These are using, you know, scale models, if you will, two-dimensional,
Yeah.
but yes.
We also,
Want to try it? Okay, we'll give it a try.
Yeah.
You know, I would imagine in order to get this clear cut, you're gonna have to show that you're not gonna be backing out into the road.
this is what we submitted to Marketing.
And he said, okay,
Well, we discussed all of the dimensions when we were doing it, and in fact, when we first started.
You've been out it, so. yeah.
okay,
We had originally, well, there were two problems, there's an existing curb cut here,
right. He had
which
to
we
show
have
that.
to be a certain distance away from,
Right.
and we originally had shown it back here.
Mhm.
And he said to get it right over here to give more room to do
Return.
this maneuver. And he then checked this out and he said it looks fine. I'm
Okay.
gonna have an email from him saying. So,
You do?
yeah, I think I do.
Can you send it to him?
Sure.
That would be helpful.
I mean, you can see the neighbor, that entrance actually encroaches onto John's property here. And so we kept this, call it 16 feet away, so give it as much, you know, distance from the neighboring curb cut.
Right, I know that the driveways have to have some separation. Okay, well, I'm good. Is anybody else have any questions?
Nope.
Questions? So you know, the deal is that once I close the public hearing, which I will do, we have 62 days to make a decision. Just so you know, we are canceling, which we will discuss, but we are likely to cancel our next meeting on the 24th, so we won't be meeting again until then. Anything else you want to ask or tell or?
Not really, I mean, we're just trying to get landscaping done and we will start landscaping. And then you can make a decision about whether we can park on it. And if not, we will have,
You'll have to remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, it doesn't really make any difference,
Finished
does
with
it?
a,
But,
you know, a drivable surface.
Right, but you have an idea of how you want this to look. Okay, good.
All right.
So I move to close the public hearing. Okay, CBA case 2505, second please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. We will. And if you hear something from the DOT in the meantime, please send it to Michelle. So we've got it.
I spoke to Donna yesterday and
Yes,
and we had a good
okay.
conversation, yeah, we had a good conversation and then he also praised you know, the project and thought it looked great.
Yeah.
He said, basically, you know, if it ends up, if it's okay with the DOT, it's gonna be okay with him, he's just gonna sign a piece of paper
Right,
saying so. And
right.
I said, well, have you seen the drawings? He said, well, no, he hadn't, so he was gonna stop by. And maybe he did that yesterday and met with Butch or Angela, just look at the drawings. But essentially, he's good with it.
Well, what he had said to me was he wasn't sure why he had to sign up in the DOT. Apparently that happens a lot.
He
with
said,
the-
he said that to me too.
Yeah.
Since he said it to you, I feel like I said it.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, he did tell me it was fine and he told me that he spoke with you. So Donnie's good. We don't, you know, we have his I don't know if we need something in writing, but he certainly gave me the verbal, he was good with it, so. So I think we're good, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Putting here?
No, we have more to be.
Oh, just kidding.
Just kidding. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks.
This one is yours.
No, it's good.
Is this yours? Oh,
So we have a couple more things to do here. We have, decisions and orders and interpretations outstanding with some decisions and orders. So I would just like to give an update on these. So I move to open 2501, application of Ian Vinci for the purposes of an update. Second, please. Okay.
aye.
Okay, so where this stands right now is that, at the public hearing, a neighbor pointed out that this project is within 500 feet of a county or state road. So, we asked for verification from Butch, which he gave us, and so this has been referred to the county planning board. And their first meeting, it will be on their May meeting. So we
Okay.
had left that public hearing recessed rather than closed because we're waiting to hear back from the Ulster County Planning Board. Just wanted to give that update, so everybody knows where we are, we're waiting. There was an error on the application and maybe a misunderstanding, but at this point, that's where that stands. So move to close 2501, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Application for 2502, Felicia and Lord Louise. Move to open that for the purposes of an update. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so this case was the one on Mincola Road where they have a 5-acre parcel and they want to cut it in half, so there's 2.5-acre parcels. At our meeting, it was, I think I can say it was not particularly well received, the notion of doing this. And by the people on the board.
Oh, okay.
Right, and, yes, and so, what the surveyor asked us to do was not to make a decision until he could provide us with some more information that he thought might be persuasive. The main reason he gave us for the request was that the property is jointly owned by 2 family members who are feuding. And, so we were, we don't particularly want, I'll speak for myself, don't really want to create 2 undersized lots and set that precedent, and significantly undersized. So, but just to let you know, that's why that one has not moved forward, is we requested that we hold off making any decision. And as far as I know, I haven't heard anything from him. And, Michelle's away now, so we're not gonna hear anything for a little while anyway. So that's the update on that one. Move to close 2502.
Second.
Okay. Okay. 2 other discussions. I suggest we cancel the 4/24/25 ZBA meeting.
We got 2502.
I'm sorry. Oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
We got you.
So you got me. Thank you, you guys. Where is it? Oh, okay. Well, I have to read the decision. I don't think so. I'll do this one, right? You have a decision? Okay, you're awesome. I just
This is us without Michelle.
It's really, because she would just be throwing it in front of us and go, here it is. Okay, so this one is future. I'm just looking because it must be here. I think it's another one. This one is. Here it is. Oh, and look, it's in a special yellow folder. Thank you, Michelle. You were looking after us. I messed up. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to open case 2503, the application of Gerald Minkowski.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have reached a decision on this. Okay, the ZBA determination is granted with conditions. The resolution, based upon the standards for consideration of area variances and conditional upon compliance with state representations, area variances from the zoning law of the town of Woodstock, Article 4, and bulk regulations, modification of the property law, section 260-26B2B for 17-foot infringement into a modified minimum required 25 side yard setback in order to install a prefabricated 20-foot by 14-foot shed/workshop and to relocate a small garden shed to the rear of the new shed workshop is hereby granted with conditions subject to all the requirements of the zoning law of the town of Woodstock, the New York State real property law, and all other applicable laws, codes, and regulations. The conditions: the front of the new shed workshop shall be installed in line with or to the rear of the facade of the residence, and the existing garden shed shall be moved behind the new shed workshop as proposed by the applicant. So, I did go out there, discussion. I did go out there and take a look, and he had it all marked out. Did anyone else do look too? It looks like it's a good arrangement. You know, pretty typical. We allow people to have sheds closer to their property lines. Seems like it's a nice, and an upgrade actually from what was there. So. We will vote. If anybody else doesn't have anything else to say? No? Okay. The vote was announced as follows: Judith Salata, aye. Nicholas Stiglione, absent. Joseph Bellak.
Aye.
Martin Moon, absent. Very good, really. And Stephen?
Aye.
So technically, the vote is adopted by 3 in favor. 0 opposed, 2 absent, and okay. So to close ZBA case 2403. Seconds.
Good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming. I should, maybe it needs to be read from my lines. Okay, 3 other things. Canceling the 4/24/25 meeting. Michelle is going to be away, and the next couple cases, we expect to be getting questions from some people in the public and contiguous neighbors, and she's not going to be able to answer them.
Okay.
So it would be a lot, and she also may not be able to be at that meeting, so I propose we cancel that meeting. Should we take a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous, so we are going to cancel that. Okay, it is up to this board to choose its own vice chair. The chair has to be appointed by the town board, but we get to choose a vice chair, so I propose that I nominate Joe to be our vice chair. And second,
Second.
all in favor?
I'm gonna
Congratulations.
abstain.
Vote for
Thank
yourself.
you, thank you.
Are you allowed to vote yourself?
I've prepared a little no. Okay, I vote for myself.
So the last thing was I was in a meeting recently, and there's been a number of people who have not filled out their ethics disclosure forms. I assume no one gave you one.
Something.
That was something else.
Okay.
So I printed it out for you. If you could just do it now and read it, and we'll get it to them. Have you done it?
I did one, yeah.
You did one. Excellent.
I don't know if it needs to be updated, but
Did you do one this year, in January?
no, definitely.
Could you please?
Yeah,
And they will make the ethics committee very, very happy with.
Of course.
I think seal it, we'll put it in front of it, and we will get it to the ethics committee, and they will be delighted.
could I borrow you? Oh,
And I think that's it. We adjourn our meeting unless anybody else has anything else. Okay? All in favor?
Hi.
Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna cancel these guys.